Every night, you go to bed after eating the wrong foods. Your muscles quietly waste away. This isn't just a feeling. It's not simply aging. It's because, while you sleep, your body needs protein and hormones to rebuild the muscle fibers worn down during the day. And when those resources aren't available, your body starts breaking down muscle tissue to compensate for the energy it lacks. According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, adults over 60 lose up to 8% of their muscle mass every decade. And most of that loss happens during sleep. At the very time when you think your body is recovering. Why does this happen? Because sleep is when your body needs peace, stability, and the right nutrients to restore muscles and produce testosterone, the hormone that keeps you strong, alert, and full of life. But if you eat the wrong kinds of fruit before bed, spiking your blood sugar, overloading your liver, and most importantly, disrupting your body's natural testosterone production at night, it throws that entire process off balance. In this video, I'm going to share 7 common fruit zones I used to eat. Ones my family used to eat that seemed harmless, but once I stopped eating them at night and made small timing adjustments, the difference was clear. Deeper sleep, less morning stiffness, and more physical strength during the day. I'll go through them from least to most harmful when eaten at the wrong time. No hype, no scare tactics. Each section comes with clear evidence and practical alternatives you can try at home starting tonight. And please, don't skip fruit number 7. It's one that so many people over 60 still eat every night, not realizing it could be the very reason their testosterone levels keep dropping. So let's begin with the first fruit. Papaya. A fruit we all think is easy on the stomach, good for digestion, but it may quietly be the one sabotaging your sleep cycle every night. Fruit number 7. Papaya. I used to think papaya was one of the safest fruits out there. Soft, easy to digest, good for the stomach. For a while, I ate it almost every night about an hour before bed, hoping it would help me sleep lighter and feel cleaner. But the more I ate it, the more I noticed something strange. On the nights I had papaya, I slept lightly, woke up more during the night, and in the morning, my legs felt sore. My steps were heavy. At first, I blamed the weather, but the pattern became too clear. My legs were growing weaker, and I didn't know why. Turns out, papaya, though healthy during the day, becomes a silent sleep disruptor at night, especially for people over 60. First, papaya contains an enzyme called papain, which speeds up digestion. That's helpful after lunch, but when eaten close to bedtime, it stimulates the stomach just when the body is trying to shut down. This makes it harder to reach deep sleep, the exact phase when testosterone is produced and muscles, especially leg muscles, are rebuilt. Without that stage, your leg strength slowly fades, without you even noticing. Second, while papaya's natural sugar content isn't extremely high, it's still enough to raise insulin levels when eaten late. That triggers your liver, pancreas, and kidneys to keep working, when what they really need is rest. The result? Poor hormone recovery, lower testosterone, and over time, a noticeable drop in leg strength. I'm not saying you should quit papaya forever, but if you're over 60 and starting to feel your legs weaken day by day, try cutting out papaya at night. Move it to lunchtime instead. For me, just a few days after changing that one habit, I felt a big difference. My legs felt lighter in the morning. I could stand up faster, walk with more control. Sometimes, keeping your legs strong after 60 doesn't require a major change. It just takes removing the right thing at the right time. Fruit number 6. Pears. Used to be my go-to fruit. Juicy, mildly sweet, and cooling. A chilled slice after dinner seemed like the perfect choice, something light to help digestion, especially for someone focused on senior health. I kept that habit for nearly a year until I realized my legs were getting weaker, and I had no idea why. Every time I ate pears late at night, I would find myself waking up in the middle of the night. On some mornings, I'd feel a strange numbness in my legs, and my steps would be slower than usual. Even when I slept a full 8 hours, I still felt drained, particularly in my legs. It turns out that even though pears aren't overly sweet, each one contains around 17 grams of natural sugar and has a surprisingly high glycemic index. Eating them too close to bedtime causes a slight blood sugar spike, forcing the liver and pancreas to keep working when they should be resting. This disrupts your ability to enter REM sleep, the most crucial phase for restoring testosterone and rebuilding muscle, especially leg muscles, which are highly prone to muscle loss in legs as we age. There's more. Pears are cold in nature, high in water content, and packed with insoluble fiber that's tough to digest. For people over 60, slower digestion makes it harder for the stomach to handle that load at night. The result? An unsettled gut, poor sleep, tired legs, and a subtle yet steady decline in leg strength. After I stopped eating pears at night, it took only a few days to notice a real difference. I slept deeper, woke up lighter, and my legs regained their strength and balance. That heavy, sluggish feeling in the morning disappeared. If you're over 60 and feeling weakness in your legs, don't overlook your evening fruit choices. Move pears to earlier in the day, ideally with breakfast or after luncheon. Avoid them completely after 8 p.m. Strong legs, stable hormones, healthy testosterone levels. It all begins with small, intentional changes like this. Fruit number 5. Apples. For years, apples have been seen as a symbol of health. Many older adults believe eating an apple each night helps with digestion, prevents constipation, and supports weight control, especially among those mindful of senior health. I used to have an apple after dinner for years, but gradually, I began to feel more fatigue, especially in my legs. Each morning, my legs felt heavy. My steps were slower. Some days, I even woke up with mild joint stiffness. Even though I slept enough hours, I still felt sluggish. But when I stopped eating apples at night, the change was noticeable. The reason? Apples are high in insoluble fiber and malic acid, great for the liver during the day. But at night, they stimulate your internal organs into doing overtime. For those over 60, this disrupts the body's ability to recover muscle and produce testosterone, a key hormone for maintaining leg strength and fighting muscle loss in legs. Apples also contain around 19 grams of fructose. It's not an excessive amount, but it's enough to slightly raise insulin levels if eaten after 8 p.m. That insulin spike interrupts REM sleep, throws off your hormones, and blocks your legs from rebuilding muscle overnight, leading to a gradual loss of power in your lower body. I'm not saying apples are bad, in fact. They can be incredibly beneficial when eaten at the right time. Shift them to the morning or early afternoon, when your body needs fuel and can digest efficiently. Avoid apples after dinner, especially close to bedtime. If you're over altmush, your leg strength doesn't just disappear, it fades slowly when your hormones are off balance. Your sleep is shallow, and your muscles aren't getting time to repair. And it can all start with one apple eaten at the wrong time. If you're looking to stabilize testosterone, protect your legs, and actively prevent age-related muscle loss, cutting apples from your nighttime routine could be a small change with a massive impact on your long-term health. Fruit number 4. Pineapple. For months, I had a habit of eating pineapple after dinner. Just a few sweet and tangy slices seemed harmless. Sometimes, I even juiced it to drink instead of water. Many people believe pineapple aids digestion and reduces joint inflammation, so for those over 60, It seems like a smart choice. But then I started noticing something strange. On nights when I ate pineapple, I had trouble falling asleep, vivid dreams, and woke up feeling like my legs were weaker, slower to move, less steady. The issue is that ripe pineapple contains up to 13 grams of sugar per 100 grams. For adults over 60, whose metabolism naturally slows with age, eating pineapple in the evening spikes blood sugar and insulin. That disrupts REM sleep, the very stage where testosterone is rebuilt and leg muscles recover. When sleep is broken and hormones are thrown off, muscle loss in the legs accelerates, especially in areas tied to leg strength. That's not all. Pineapple also contains bromelain, a digestive enzyme that works well during the day. But at night, it lightly stimulates the stomach, causing a subtle fullness or discomfort that keeps older adults from falling into deep sleep. A study published in Clinical Nutrition found that consuming high amounts of sugar after 8 p.m. disrupts hormone balance. 8 times more than eating the same amount earlier in the day, and pineapple is one sweet culprit many people overlook. Just a few days after cutting pineapple out of my evening routine, I started sleeping more deeply. I woke up with lighter legs, clear focus, and no more heavy-headed mornings or joint stiffness. I didn't quit pineapple. I just shifted it to early afternoon. That way, my body had time to burn the sugar and use the enzymes effectively, without throwing off my hormone rhythm. For anyone focused on senior health, protecting your testosterone, muscle mass, and leg strength isn't about eating more good foods. It's about choosing the right foods at the right times. Pineapple eaten at the wrong hour can quietly break the chain of hormonal recovery and leg power every night. A small shift in timing can make a big difference in how strong and steady you feel after 60. Fruit number 3. Grapes. There was a time I was hooked on grape sweet. Soft, convenient. Every night while watching television, my hand would reach for one after another without thinking. Many people over 60 also turn to grapes as a heart-healthy dessert. Rich in antioxidants. Easy to eat. Familiar. But then I started noticing something odd. Every morning after having grapes the night before, my legs felt heavy. I moved slower. Even light exercises were harder to start. That's when I stopped and took a closer look. Grapes are among the fruits with the highest natural sugar, content about 23 grams per 100 grams. For seniors, the ability to metabolize glucose weakens with age. Eating grapes late at night causes a spike in insulin. The body has to activate the liver, pancreas, and nervous system to manage that sugar at a time when it should be resting and regenerating hormones. The result? Shallow sleep, incomplete testosterone recovery, and muscle loss in the legs that creeps in night after night. Testosterone is the very hormone that supports leg strength, agility, and a steady mental state. When it declines due to disrupted REM sleep, the phase when it's naturally restored, your legs weaken with it. That's why so many people over 60 begin to feel leg fatigue, loss of balance, or instability, even without doing anything strenuous. There's more. Grapes contain resveratrol, a potent antioxidant, good for heart health. But when consumed at night, it can slightly stimulate the nervous system. Combine that with a sugar spike, and you get a lightly activated brain when it should be winding down, causing restlessness, wake-ups, and poor quality sleep. Once I cut grapes from my nighttime routine, I saw a real difference. Deeper sleep, clearer mornings, stronger legs, and steadier steps. I didn't give up grapes. I just moved them to lunchtime, when my body could better process their sugar and nutrients. Senior health isn't about eating more good things, it's about timing them right. Grapes, eaten after 8 p.m., could quietly drain your testosterone, ruin your sleep, and slowly sap the strength from your legs without you ever realizing it. Fruit number 2. Durian, jackfruit. Common favorites in South Vietnam and across Asia. Rich, aromatic, and chewy. They feel like a premium treat, so people tend to indulge when they appear. I was no exception. Whenever my family had durian or jackfruit after dinner, I'd grab a few segments, thinking it would keep me full and help me sleep better. But a few hours later, trouble would appear. I'd feel warmth in my stomach, pressure in my head, restlessness in my legs and arms, and I couldn't fall asleep. Some nights, my heart raced mid-sleep. Morning came and I felt exhausted. Even though I slept enough hours, my legs felt weak, and my energy was low. That's when I realized durian and jackfruit are nutritional powerhouses, but if eaten late, they can wreck a senior's natural nighttime recovery cycle. First, the sugar. Jackfruit has about 19 grams per 100 grams. Durian nearly 27 gram zone of the highest concentrations among fruits. That's fine during the day, when your body can burn it. But after 8 p.m., it's a massive sugar load at the time your body should rest. It spikes insulin, disrupts deep sleep, and prevents proper hormone recovery, especially testosterone. Second, the fat. Durian is particularly high in fat, nearly 5 grams per 100 grams. Jackfruit contains a good mix of starch and fat. 2. Combined with the sugar, this becomes a big energy burden when your body should be resting and regenerating. The result? Poor sleep quality, even nightmares, indigestion, stiff shoulders in the morning, and most importantly, insufficient testosterone to protect against muscle loss, particularly in the legs. Add to that their warming nature. Both durian and jackfruit generate internal heat, which older adults with weaker digestion and liver function struggle to handle at night. This often leads to bloating, nighttime restlessness, and ultimately disrupts deep sleep. In the context of maintaining testosterone, muscle mass, and leg strength, this becomes a silent downward spiral that erases all your daytime efforts. I'm not saying you must eliminate durian or jackfruit entirely, but if you're over 60 and care about senior health, save these fruits for breakfast or early afternoon. Never eat them after dinner, and especially not right before bed when your body needs calm to regenerate. Even younger people find it hard to sleep after late-night durian. With seniors, the consequences are much deeper and longer-lasting. I tried it myself. After removing durian and jackfruit from my evening meals, within a week my sleep improved. My mind cleared, and my legs felt stronger. No supplements, no medications, just timing. And at 60 plus, lasting recovery begins with simple adjustments like that. Fruit number 1, dried fruit. If you asked me which fruit is the single most dangerous for seniors to eat at night, I wouldn't pick durian or jackfruit. I'd pick dried fruit. It may sound surprising, but living longer and paying attention to my body revealed something astonishing. Dried fruit hailed as convenient, fiber-rich, and vitamin-dense is actually the most insidious disruptor of senior health at night. First, it's just too easy to eat. A small handful, a bag hanging in the pantry, a container on the coffee table, no peeling, no washing. You grab 1 or 2 pieces and before you know it, you've eaten a lot without noticing. Second, it's deceptively sweet, concentrated sweetness. The sugar content in dried fruit can be 4 to 6 times that of the fresh version. A grape may have 1 gram of sugar, but a tiny raisin can contain 3-4 grams, and nobody eats just 1. I used to snack on dried plums, raisin, or jackfruit chips after dinner. thinking they were healthy, fiber-rich, and a good alternative to candy. But the more I ate, the more I felt the effects. Heavy, restless sleep. Sometimes lying awake for 2 hours. Other nights, my sleep was full of dreams, or I'd twitch in my legs and arms. I would wake up with heavy eyelids and groggy mornings. Even sleeping a full 8 hours, I still felt drained. Finally, I understood why. The high sugar in dried fruit spikes blood glucose quickly, especially for those over 60, whose insulin regulation is less efficient. This can lead to prolonged insulin elevation at night, throwing off the entire hormone recovery cycle, especially testosterone. Instead of rebuilding muscle, balancing melatonin, and resetting the nervous system, your body is busy clearing sugar. The result? Testosterone drops, muscle loss rises, and you wake up feeling weak. There's more. Dried fruit often contains preservatives, sulfites, or added sugars to enhance flavor. These additives, 7 in small amounts, can irritate the liver at night, slow blood detoxification, disrupt sleep quality, and trigger chronic testosterone decline, and you wouldn't even notice. I know so many people over 60 saying, "I don't eat sweets or late at night. I only eat fruit, but I'm still weak and sleepless." When I dig deeper, they typically snack on dried fruit in the evening, accidentally consuming more sugar than a slice of cake. That little mistake silently derails endocrine function, wrecks sleep quality, and prevents testosterone regeneration. I'm not dismissing the benefits of dried fruit. It can be healthy if eaten during the day, with a meal, and in moderation. But for people over 60, timing is everything. If you want to maintain muscle strength, estabilice testosterone, stay alert, and keep your leg strength intact, stop eating dried fruit after 7 p.m. Instead, opt for a warm glass of water, or a few slices of fresh fruit like crisp green apple or mellow pear in the early afternoon. After removing dried fruit from my evening routine, I slept deeper, woke mentally sharper, and my leg strength recovered faster. For me, that was one of the most powerful shifts in preserving testosterone, simply by eliminating one thing at the right time. When your legs feel sore every morning, it's not just fatigue, it's a warning. I used to think my legs were weak because I wasn't active enough. But even with daily exercise and morning walks, my legs still felt unstable. That's when I realized the problem wasn't in my day sit, was hidden in my nights. And it all began with a small plate of fruit after dinner. Adults over 60 lose an average of 8% of muscle mass per decade, and leg muscles are often the first to go. Why? Because true muscle recovery only happens during sleep, when your body finally gets a chance to rebuild and generate hormones that maintain leg strength. But if just hours before bed, you unknowingly eat fruits high in sugar, with strong enzymes, or heady effects, it disrupts the recovery process. Your body gets pulled into processing sugar and insulin instead of regenerating testosterone and preserving muscle. The result? You wake up with heavy legs, slower movements, and a sluggish start. Many assume leg weakness is just part of aging, but the truth is, a surprising number of muscle loss in legs cases stem from simple nighttime diet mistakes. A handful of grapes, a slice of jackfruit, a sweet late-night apple. They may seem harmless, but repeated night after night, they sabotage your hormonal balance, fracture deep sleep, and quietly suppress testosterone. Your leg muscles lose their strength not from age, but from being denied the rest and recovery they need. If you're finding your mornings slower, stairs harder, legs aching, start with the smallest shift. Cut fruit from your evening routine, especially the 7 types we've covered in this video. Give your legs the full rest they deserve. That's the first real step in resisting muscle loss. preserving leg strength, and aging with vitality without medication or gym memberships. I used to think I needed more workouts to keep my legs strong. But the truth? First, I had to let them rest properly. Rest in undisturbed sleep not interrupted by blood sugar spikes, insuline surge, or late-night digestion. And to do that, it took just one change. Eating right at the right time. If this video resonates with you even a little, please share it with your loved ones, especially those feeling weak, restless, or stiff every morning. The journey to strong legs doesn't begin with medicine. It starts with dinner. And starting today, you have the power to choose differently.